Hello and welcome back to Anywhere But Here, episode 303. My name is Tom.
And my name's Ant.
And you can find us at abhpod.com, where, if you scroll down a little bit, there is an Amazon banner. If you go through the Amazon banner and do your shopping at amazon.co.uk, like you do for everything, because let's face it, it's really easy, we get 5% of the total that you spend with Amazon. You don't spend any more. We just take a tiny bit of profit away from amazon.co.uk. I actually spent some money on there this week.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Anything nice?
The last 4 issues of Sandman.
Sweet.
So that'll be maybe 40p coming our way.
Excellent. Oh, yeah. Rolling in it. If you want to support us on a more regular basis and not 40p at a time, you can use the Patreon banner that's on our website, right next to the Amazon banner, and you can pledge like £1 a month or $1 a month or €1 a month or whatever you pay. And for that, you'll get the main episode without this intro, without us bothering you about Patreon. It's even worth it just to shut us up, isn't it? You get after the podcast. They're exclusive to the Patreon feed. Nobody else hears them. They're only available on Patreon. You get spoiler casts. So if we've watched a film or a TV show, we record spoiler casts about them, and you get that when we record it. You don't have to wait for it to go out on the main feed. Occasionally, not for a long time though, we do video content. We might play games or something like that, and that will go up on Patreon early. Even actually, to be fair, the main episode and the after the podcast, all our content we record over Zoom now, so there's always a video, and that's only on the Patreon. The audio content also, you get a special feed, you get a gold thumb on the album artwork, and that gets delivered directly to your phone, your device, whatever you use to listen to. So it's worth it for just that $1, I think.
Definitely. You can get in contact with us on Twitter at ABH Pod. You can get in contact with us on Facebook.com/ABH Pod. And you can go and watch us on YouTube.com/ABH Podcast.
That's it. You can also contact us old-fashioned, not with a letter, not pen and paper, but email abhpod@gmail.com. On this episode, we talk about possibly the greatest British tennis player of all time, Emma Raducanu.
Indeed. We also talk about some live music that we've been to see recently, see and play in.
Yeah, which kind of sort of fits in with the other topic of getting back into society, integrating back with society again.
But first, let's talk about the possible name change for this podcast, shall we?
Let's enjoy. Welcome to the Anything to Do with Sports podcast, because we're going to talk about sports again.
And with good reason, I think.
Yeah, it was something special, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The thing is, we're talking about the US Open, Emma Raducanu. It tends to be Wimbledon is the only tennis major that I ever really watch. It's the only thing I ever really watch. But, that thought, just, gassy. But Emma Raducanu, you could tell in Wimbledon that she was something special. Despite sort of being knocked out at whatever, but
she withdrew, didn't she, for mental health reasons?
Was it her that withdrew for mental health reasons?
Yeah, it was her. She I think she was on court and she had a panic attack.
That was it. Yes. Yeah. She was performing. Then, she was really special, and then had to withdraw. Yes, no, I do remember that. Yeah, because she was like, "Can we?" She was that sort of, "Can we go and have a chat?" And
and she was piled on by people like John McEnroe and Piers Morgan for, being a bit of a snowflake, and
shock horror.
I think massively misjudged now, bearing in mind what happened last night.
Yeah, so that's it. So after Wimbledon, I was kind of like, she's pretty special. Shame,
But we hope she gets better, and
local girl as well from Bromley.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very close to us. But hearing sort of like murmurs, and Liz's mum, hugely into sports like football, Formula One, tennis, golf, tennis, everything. She watches everything, and she started saying, like, I've been watching Emma Raducanu, like she's doing really well. She's like, it's something special. She's into the finals. She hasn't lost a set. Like, and we're like, okay, cool. Maybe I'll check this out then. And then when I was watching it and hearing the commentators last night, I was like, oh, this is something like really special.
Yeah, it was like witnessing the next Venus Williams or something, you know?
Yeah.
Or Serena, should I say. And
it's the fact that she entered the US Open, didn't she? Unranked, essentially unranked. She didn't get into bright light. Let's just open the curtains. She didn't get into the competition based on her rank. She had to qualify.
Yeah. I think she's the only woman who's done that.
Yeah,
for a very, very long time.
No, I think
if not at all.
Yeah, it's not just woman. I think she is the first person to have ever won a major coming in as a qualifier.
Through qualification, yeah.
First person ever. Not just woman, just generally. That doesn't happen. From what I heard, like from what they were saying last night, it's the first time it's ever happened. Plus she's 18.
Yeah.
And she's British.
She just she just got her A-level results last month.
Yeah. And that's it. And she is British. Born in Canada, but British. Sort of British parents, born in Canada, but raised her whole life in England. Not like Greg Rosetsky, whose parents.
I was going to say Greg Rosetsky actually is Canadian, but did play for Britain.
But I think it was the other. Like, I think Greg Rosetsky was born in the UK to British parents, but then grew up in Canada.
Right.
I don't know. Like I say, don't really watch tennis other than Wimbledon. But yeah, it was special. It was amazing. And to be fair, I did want to watch it. And then when you messaged me saying, I'm not sure I'll be up for 10, it depends what Emma Raducanu does. And I was like, oh shit, tennis. So I joined it like third game.
Yes. Game set match.
Third game in the second set, I think.
Right, okay. Yeah.
I always get the game and the match mixed for some reason. But yeah, it was the third game, I think it was. But just watching it. And the thing is, it's like, yes, she didn't lose a single set in the whole competition. Like every match she played was straight sets. But then last night, was it Fernandez?
That's right, yeah.
Not taking anything away from her because she was incredible as well.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't win a set, but the whole match was just incredible to watch.
Yeah, I
says
think
the man who joined it third game in the second set.
The fact that her Raducanu's progression was in the first game 6-2, 6-4, in the second game 6-love, 6-1, 6-2, 6-1, 6-3, 6-4, 6-1, 6-4, and then last night was 6-4, 6-3. But I would say that like last night, because I haven't, obviously, like, it's on Prime. I don't have Prime.
No.
So I haven't been watching it, but I've been taking note of the coverage, like the news coverage that she's had. And it seems like everything has been a bit of a breeze for her. I was quite glad that actually, like, all the matches up until the final didn't have an audience. People weren't allowed into the stadiums until the final.
So I got the impression that they were there, like there were audiences from the post match. I thought that they were there for the whole competition, but again, didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But
but then I thought, like, when I texted you last night and was like, it depends what agony she puts us through.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting, like, the place was full. There were like 20,000 people there.
Ridiculous, that stadium.
Yeah, I know. It's like huge. A basketball stadium.
It just kept going up.
With the ridiculously high banked seating. Yeah.
It's odd. Very odd.
It seemed like a moment when you were watching it as well. I mean, at the beginning of the match, they had 7 of the original 9 women who set up the Women's Tennis Association. So you had Billie Jean King and all the other women.
Yeah.
And if I think 2 of them weren't there, but they'd sent granddaughters or something. So yeah, there was a part of me that was like, there's 20,000 people in there, and there's these tennis legends sat around. Like Tim Henman was there, and also like people like Virginia Wade was there,
Yeah.
and like anyone
Everyone.
who's ever won anything was there. It
Yeah,
was,
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, high pressure. So I was like, I really hope that things go well and she doesn't have another. Because
it doesn't affect her. But I think Wimbledon was like one of her. Was it her first major?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is her first first US Open as well.
Yeah, it's only her fourth major tournament she's been part of.
Yeah.
And she won it. But it was one of the other stats that really boggled my mind. Obviously, like yesterday was the anniversary, the 20th anniversary of September the 11th, the attack. Neither of those two were alive.
No, I know. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah,
like
it's crazy. Like, because the Canadian girl, she was only one. Yeah, she's only 1 year older, and has got through to, I think her record at the US Open last year was a second round appearance. Like, she got through one match and then lost the second one, and you're like, what? It's odd, isn't it? Because the men's game has been dominated so long by Djokovic, Federer, Nadal.
Yeah.
With the occasional kind of Andy Murray or Marin Cilic or someone like that.
Yeah.
And it's been like a decade or more of those men at the top. But the women's game changes over so much.
Yeah.
Like Serena and Venus have been there for ages now, but
they pretty much dominated for a few years.
Yeah, but like the turnover in everyone else, like even people like Sharapova turned up and was unbeatable for like 2 years and then disappeared. Like the women's game has got such a high turnover, and it does make you wonder at this young age whether these girls will be there or thereabouts for a long time. Yeah,
if they're going to be like you say, the Djokovic's or the Nadals and people like that who got the longevity, or is it going to be like the previous generations of like female tennis players where they're in for a couple of years and then they go? But
I think it will be really interesting to kind of chart that over the next couple of years to see what's happening.
Yeah, it was pretty spectacular, and I think one of the most amazing things about it was the crowd was behind both of them equally.
Yeah, that's what I like about tennis. I think we had this conversation around the World Cup. Or the Europeans, sorry.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I don't like that
booing and stuff.
Booing thing, because it's just not on. Like, that's why I like tennis. Because generally speaking, there isn't like
there's not booing, but like with the Wimbledon final, the men's Wimbledon final, like I can't even remember who Djokovic was playing. That's how much he dominates. Like, but his opponent. Like everyone was cheering for his opponent, but he wasn't really getting many cheers, which that fuels him. That sort of causes him to do really well. But I think everyone's sick of Djokovic and his attitude and stuff like that. So people don't generally cheer him. But you don't get booing. Like people don't boo in tennis.
Yeah, but regardless, if he
but
pulls
there's usually
off an amazing,
a preferred.
If he pulls off an amazing shot, there will be applause.
There's that respect. Yeah. Speaking of, there were some fantastic rallies and shots pulled off in that final last night.
They were both playing outstanding tennis, and a lot of
Raducanu even ended up bleeding. She was playing so hard. Yeah,
I didn't like the fact that Fernandez was kind of bitching about that. That was a little bit like, oh, come on, man. Like if you were like, you have to stop the game if someone's bleeding.
Yeah, and Raducanu didn't call for her trainer. Like it wasn't a tactical sort of medical stop.
The umpire called it as a medical
She was
timeout.
Clearly like blood was dripping down her leg. And it's just the rules of the game. And I do get the frustration. Like it's probably the heat at the moment. She's probably not like that at all.
No.
I think it's probably the heat at the moment. Like she was in a rhythm. She was doing really well. And the fact it was like, I don't think it was championship point, was it? I think it was like 40-30.
Yeah.
I think it was 40-30 Fernandez. But it does seem, I don't know, but they both got that break. But, Fernandez was in a zone, so to speak.
I was just afraid that, like, when you're doing something and then, like, I don't know, like, I got the idea that in my head that maybe having that bandage there is going to be slightly off-putting, or like, you know, I was like, oh, here we go, like this is the turning point. But I mean, it was over within another couple of minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the being British and watching your team. That's what does that. So, oh, great, here we go. Spanner in the works, but actually
it's like, you know, it's the England football team thing, isn't it? They've gone 1-0 up, we're going to lose. It's going to penalty.
Something has changed in the game. It's just thrown them off completely. But no, it didn't phase her at all, did it? Like, and in fact, it seemed maybe that break probably allowed her to compose herself a bit more. But Tim Henman was funny though. Like when they were talking to him afterwards, he goes, "It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's stupid." Like she was doing her A-level. She's been over there 3 weeks. She didn't qualify. Like she had to qualify for it. It's stupid. How does this happen? And I think that just shows, doesn't it? Like he's a seasoned tennis player. He's played in majors. Like he's seen it all, and he's just like, this doesn't happen. It's fucking stupid.
Nothing
What's
about
going on?
Makes sense. And I was having a look at some of the Twitter things. What slightly annoys me about American competitions is the way that they make a massive deal out of the prize money.
Yeah.
Oh, can you guess how much you've won? Yes, I'm a professional tennis player and I know what's at stake in this match that I'm playing.
Yeah, I know what the prize
condescend
is.
Me because I'm 18 years old, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I saw like Nish Kumar was like, oh, someone's going to have to explain what a check is to her.
Yeah. They're 18, so they even know how to deposit a check.
Exactly.
And but the other thing that's stupid about it as well is like, here's the assistant director of a huge financial institution that looks after our money to give you your check. Yeah. And it's like, and I bet and did you see, she kind of took the check and was like, oh, cool. And then somebody else was like, give me the check.
Yeah.
Give it back. Because when you come to talk to me after all of this to get your check, we are going to try and convince you to open an account with us. And that's what would happen.
Yeah.
Because it's all about the sales. It's JCPenney being the fucking... JCPenney is financial. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
JP Morgan.
JP Morgan it was.
JCPenney is a department store.
Yes. No, it's JP Morgan, wasn't it?
JP Morgan, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like... You just know that they're going to try and get her to open an account to keep her prize fund. Yeah. But the fact that they do so, and I did read quite a few replies on that where it's like Wimbledon used to announce what the prize total was, because I don't think the prize total for Wimbledon was ever at a set amount.
No, and it was.
So I think it was dependent on ticket sales or so. I don't know, because it used to be a different prize each year.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that the men's and the women's is kind of still
the disparity.
There's still a bit of a disparity around it, which is quite controversial still. But yeah, I don't know what, because they don't announce it anymore. So I have no idea what the prize winning is. What they do is a lot more kind of classy and British, which is like, here's a massive shield and or cup.
Yeah,
and we'll get Sue Barker to interview you.
Yeah,
and it'll be awarded by the Duchess of Kent or whatever. You know.
Well, it used to be the Duke. I can't remember who it was now, but
it was
this
the
year,
Duke of Kent, wasn't it?
Yeah, normally, but he handed over the title now, didn't? Like he's handed it over to, I think, Kate. Does she do it?
You
now?
might be right. Actually, you might be right.
I think it was his last year this year. Or their last year, I can't remember who it was, but I think it might have been handed over to the Duchess of Cambridge now. Yeah, but yeah, it's so. But yeah, I did see some of those replies where it was like, "Oh, fucking so American to be announcing like this prize money and stuff like that," and people were like, "Yeah, rather than have royalty turn up in a gold-plated car to hand over." Like, and it's like, touche.
Yeah, fair enough.
Good point.
But I almost feel like this has slightly overshadowed what Djokovic might do today, because Djokovic goes in the final. If he wins today, he'll have won all 4 majors in 1 year.
Really?
Yeah, which is a historical thing. He won the Australian, he won Wimbledon
and French,
and the French, and so he's going in the final tonight.
Wow. that would be special if he
the
did
Grand
that.
Slam of Grand Slams.
But the thing is, with Djokovic now, though, it's like, yes, it would be special, but also you'd go, yeah.
Of course he did.
Djokovic.
But there's a guy, Mark Austin, I think he's a TV presenter, was saying on Twitter earlier on, Novak Djokovic may make history today winning the 4 Grand Slam events in 1 year, but he will never ever win the US Open and the Sunridge Park Tennis Club Kent Player of the Year in the same 12 months. It just won't happen. Emma Raducanu will always have that on him.
That's brilliant. Yeah, it's the fact. Yeah, that she's from Bromley, just down the road.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of the stops on the way to London. I've done it so many times. Yeah, Bromley South. I don't know which part of Bromley she's from, but there it's that.
Yeah, we're allowed to claim it. It's fine.
Yeah.
And actually, that was something that Sadiq Khan has said as well. It's that Emma Raducanu's story is London's story. Born in Canada to Chinese and Romanian parents, she moved to London at 2 years old. Here in London, we embrace and celebrate our diversity, and if you work hard and get a helping hand, you can achieve anything.
Is Bromley in London?
If you work in Bromley, you get London waiting on your salary because it's basically it's North Kent / South. I
was going to say, what county is Bromley in?
Yeah, it's Kent.
It's Kent, mate. It's not fucking London. Piss off. London is trying to do that. They're trying to take over Kent, aren't they? There's like housing developments in Maidstone.
Yeah.
The developers from London, like they're building places down here to move. Sort of like, what's the best way to put it? They're building affordable housing down. Not even affordable housing, is it? It's like housing association, but it's a London housing association.
Oh, right.
So they're moving people from London to Kent because they run out of space in London, I suppose, to build developments. But on the planning application, when you looked at it, it said the London Borough of Maidstone.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I mean, it's
like an hour's train away, mate.
It's only 50 miles outside of the city.
Yeah. But yeah, the planning application said the London Borough of Maidstone because it's like a London council or a London, I don't know what you would call it, a housing association based in London, are building houses here to move people. So they're calling it the London Borough of Maidstone. It's like, no, mate. There's plenty. There's like several towns between us.
Yeah, I mean Dartford, Gravesend, Medway.
Yeah, like it makes no sense. But
yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense that Sadiq Khan would be claiming her.
But as well, what I found out is that the audience on Channel 4 last night was 7.39 million. Jesus. Which is incredible, really, for something that I'd only just been put on.
Yeah,
because it was Amazon Prime, wasn't it? That was where it was originally going out.
Yes. Yeah, so for the last couple of years, Amazon Prime have had the exclusive rights to the US Open. I think most of the tennis majors, to be fair, other than Wimbledon. I think Amazon Prime has had the exclusive rights for. But that's one thing I was going to ask, because I know, was it like 30 million? It was worth, like Channel 4 paid to have.
I don't know. I didn't find that out, actually. I can imagine it was a lot, because obviously Amazon don't want to give that away for free, do they?
No. So I think they paid to basically pipe the feed into Channel 4. But was it just the women's, or was the men's part of that deal as well?
I have no idea. I don't know whether the men's is on Channel 4 tonight. Do you know?
Because it makes sense.
We don't know.
Yeah, all right. US.
I think it was literally just because she has,
British.
That, and the fact that it's been this ridiculous once in a lifetime, or once in a generation kind of thing. Someone who A is British but B has qualified and then won every round without losing a set. It's just ridiculous.
I think it was just a women's final. That's mad.
And that in itself says something too. isn't it? Like we're not going to bother paying for the Djokovic thing in which he can win all the Grand Slams in 1 year. We're going to go for, local girl done good, which is incredible.
I think that highlights. Yeah, so thought to be about £30 million.
Wow. And did you notice there weren't any ad breaks either?
No. Wow.
Which is odd because
Channel 4 didn't even. Well, I watched it on Prime to be fair because I have Prime. But I didn't realise there was no ad breaks on Channel 4. Yeah, no.
We were watching it and we were like, they aren't stopping for ad breaks in between the rounds or anything. Like,
so you would think that part of the deal, they'd say we don't mind spending 30 million because that's going to garner us a massive audience, and we can make money from selling ads. But they didn't sell ads on it.
No.
It was just a kind of like, everyone needs to see this.
I can only assume that either side of it, there were 10 minutes of adverts.
Yeah. And they're just hoping that people stayed to watch them. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, if it cost them 30 million, you would have expected them to try and recoup a bit of that, if not all of it. But no.
That's great. But like I was saying, it does highlight the fact that they paid that much for like a women's tennis tournament. Yeah, she was British, so obviously there was that side of it as well. But it just highlights that women's tennis is as important as men's. So this disparity in the prize funds for Wimbledon
sometimes
ridiculous.
I prefer watching the women's game anyway because the rallies are generally longer.
Yeah, that's exactly what my dad used to say when I was a kid. Like in the early when we used to watch Wimbledon. And Dad would always watch the women's finals because he always said because it's more interesting because of the rallies. Like it's more technical. It's
not just smashing aces past each other or maybe getting a return in.
However, as she was serving for the championship point last night, I was like, "This has to be an ace. She has to win it." I
said it as well. I was like,
I thought ace, it was like
ace to break. Yeah, and then win, and she did it, and fucking hell, like
But yeah, I was just like, it has to be an ace, like this one, and it was that weird moment because there was like, was it 4 championship? Was it the 4th championship point, or was it the 3rd?
Because she'd definitely done it twice, if not 3 times. So it was either 3rd or 4th. Yeah,
it's either the 3rd or 4th championship point. I don't know. As she was stepped up to serve for that last championship, it just felt different. But I just thought, like you said out loud, ace to break, and I was just like, I was thinking, it has to be. This is it. You just felt it. Yeah.
And just absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
just really like it. It's a feel good story because like, especially knowing what happened at Wimbledon as well.
Yeah,
it's such a because then obviously you had Piers Morgan saying what a great performance and all this, and everyone's like, oh, do you remember when you said this?
Yeah, I love it. I love and hate social media equally. Like
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my God, everyone can find what you said in the past. And it's like, everyone can find what you said in the past.
It's like someone's hot take was not quite as hot as they thought it was a few months back. But also the other thing is like, it took Andy Murray like 4 or 5 years of putting us through agony after agony to win a Wimbledon or a Grand Slam ball. She's done it in 6 months.
Yeah. I'm again on the Andy Murray front. I'm not a fan. Everyone's like, Andy Murray, Britain's greatest player. No, he's not British though, is he? He's Scottish.
I think he was much more like that in his early days. I think he's got over that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, because he realises he doesn't have the support that he wanted because of what he said. I'm not.
I don't think I think that Gemma will win Sports Personality of the Year this year.
You don't?
I do.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, because I was going to say, but your tweet last night.
No, it's clear to me that Emma will win that,
and I think
it's because she has shown like fortitude to come through from her experience at Wimbledon to this,
Yeah.
Whereas I think Andy Murray doesn't have a personality, and I think it's always been that whole thing, and it's the same with Lewis Hamilton as well. Like he doesn't have a personality either. And you're like,
and
it should just be sports person of the year. I don't think they should call it personality, because very few sports people have proper personalities because they're just so about the one thing.
And I also, the thing with sports personality of the year or sports person of the year, I don't think it's like, well, this person won the big like tournament, so then they should win it. I think like, yes, she did win in this occasion. Yes, she did win a major, but it's how she did it. And it's the story. Like you say, it's the fact that like in these past 12 months, she won a local tennis thing. And then she went on to win like the US Open, but she didn't enter the US Open as a ranked player. She entered the US Open as someone who needed to qualify for it, which she did. And then I think that whole story is something that should be recognized with this award. I don't think like Lewis Hamilton, yes, he's a fantastic driver. We know he's a fantastic driver. He always has been, and he's been winning stuff back to back to back for years.
Yeah.
So yes, you can recognize that, but I don't think it's one of those like inspiring stories as such, like hers is. I don't know. I mean, there's probably a lot of kids out there that are like, "Wow, Lewis Hamilton, amazing! I want to be a driver. I want to be a race driver." He's
equally the only black race driver that has ever won anything. In Formula One, anyway. Like it is predominantly a rich white man's sport, and he came from a Berkshire council estate. Like there is definitely a story there, but the fact that he's on if he wins the championship this year, which is going to be, it's on a knife edge. It will be his 8th world championship. Like he's established as the greatest of all time. Yeah. Like even surpassing Michael Schumacher's records. Yeah. But yeah, like give it to Emma. The only other person that I think will have a shout is Marcus Rashford this year, but because of the stuff he's done off the field.
Yes, and that's the thing, because sports, and that fits with sports personality of the year, because he is a sportsman, but it's about his personality and the things he does.
Although I still don't think he's got much of an actual personality. He's just a very good person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. And I know we spoke about it anyway, and the fact that he's done that, I think, has inspired the whole of this England team. And I think it's actually shows what that generation and generations after, how much better than us they are. And it's why the fact that they've got that in them to be good people, to help people and stuff like that, I think, I think that's something that's possibly lacking in our generation. I think it's probably where it started. Yeah. But yeah. And it's why I really found the booing during national anthems of other teams massively disrespectful. And because it's up to the players to lead by example, and the players, for the first time in a very long time, have been people that like kids can look up to. Yeah. And also are setting an example for everyone. Yeah. And the louts that watch football are sticking to this kind of ancient like tribes mentality. And, but at the same time, there are friends that we have that do love football. I mean, there's one person I'm thinking of in particular who goes to watch football and loves football, and Charlie loves football, goes regularly, takes it, but is actually a very, very like a really, really good person. Yeah. Do you know? Yeah. Like, I'm not tarring everyone with the same brush, but like the vocal, probably the ones that you can hear booing. Yeah. I don't know. There are those people out there, but yeah, I just feel. Yeah, but it's football in particular has a problem with that. Like the fandom of football in particular has a problem that has it's been like a hangover from the 70s and 80s, where like it was just nasty, like firm rivalries and things like that, you know. Yeah. And they do still exist, annoyingly. But
yeah. But like I say, it's either going to be Rashford or it'll be Raducanu. Like I can't see anyone else really, apart from maybe some Olympians, Paralympians. But even then, like there was nothing massively standout this year. I didn't feel.
Yeah, and obviously it's British Sports Personality of the Year as well. Because my head's going to the two high jumpers, like that. Like that deserves to win an award. Like that show of sportsmanship.
Yeah, that on its own. Yeah. I mean, I think there is an international sports personality of the year award, and maybe that should go to them.
Yeah, for sure. Because that is the spirit of sports. In all honesty, hey, we can't decide a winner. Let's call it a draw and both win. But yeah, there's just some really good sport at the minute, isn't there? Now. Yeah. Which we were discussing before. When did we become people that cared about sport? Go listen to the early days. Fucking
yeah, exactly. Or when we did our World Cup using stereotypes.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah. Oh well.
We've grown and matured over the last
for sure
9 years or whatever it's been.
For sure, and our band practices show that, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing we recognised, wasn't it? When we started practicing again and we were just texting each other going, no, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. We'll do something else. And it's kind of like, wait, hang on. No, normally we'd be like, no, I want to do this. We're fucking doing this one. But it's definitely changed. Which, if anyone ever, if when we do play live shows again, if people come and see, you'll see. You'll see. Yes. But yeah, speaking of live music, anyway, you Hero Fest was last weekend.
It was last weekend. It feels like a lot longer ago.
It does actually. When I was saying last weekend, I'm like, is that right? No, yes, it is. It is right. Hero Fest, where my first taste of Swamp Stomper, and I loved it. Like the songs are great, like old school sort of. They got that old school feel, but then there's like great melodies as well. I feel like sort of it's like it feels current, but also feels like old school punk as well.
There's an interesting mix of like influences in that band. Like, for sure. Obviously, Kev and Ian are into kind of old school kind of hard rock and metal and stuff like that.
Yeah, despite the fact that Ian looks like a punk.
yeah, with the shaved heads up the sides and all that.
Yeah.
But he likes a really broad range of stuff, to be fair, does Ian. Obviously Paul is much more kind of old school, like English Dogs and Dogs D'Amour and the Rosillos and like a load of old school kind of 80s, like the more kind of, I would say, the more underground 80s punk bands.
Yeah.
Like not the obvious ones. And then there's me, who is slightly more modern in
who
my
likes
taste
music.
Of music. Yeah.
Just generally.
And I think the new song, one of the new songs has really got a taste of all of us in it, and it's the one that we all share a little bit of vocals on, because it's got that kind of like pop punky bada thing.
Yeah.
A lot of woes and ways, and that's a lot, to do with me and Ian. But then you've got that kind of like much heavier breakdown.
Yeah.
Which actually Ian is supposed to sing, but he didn't have a microphone on the day, so I had to do it.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. There was I kept looking at it, like Liz was really laughing at Ian. She was like, I love drummers' faces. Like, he's a very expressive drummer.
Yeah.
But he's also singing along as well. Like, he's sort of like doing that, looking up in the air, singing along, which is he's loving life.
Yeah.
Behind that drum kit. But yeah, I'd say like, because obviously where you got Paul with that genuine, like it's quite clear he's the punk influence, like that old school punk influence. You love your punk as well, so you've got that really old school punk sound, but then you've got Kev, who is like a fantastic guitarist, but like you say, he's into his metal, and you can really hear that because there's some real intricate guitar bits and stuff, which is a really interesting mix of sort of styles. And to be fair, Paul great guitarist as well.
Yeah,
with a fucking stunning guitar, by the way.
Those Hagstroms are lovely.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'd never heard of them before.
I didn't know it was Hagstrom. I just assumed it was a Gibson because they do the big semi-acoustic hollow body. But yeah, lovely guitar. I saw that. I was like,
I mean, he's owned more guitars than I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Like he's one of these people who serially buys and sells all sorts of stuff. Yeah, he's always getting new stuff. But yeah, those Hagstroms, he's got a black one and he's got a white one. And they are guitars of choice at the moment for him by the seams of things. And they are beautiful looking things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And
no, it was really good. And to be fair, it's the first Hero Fest I went to. I didn't realise, and I think you told me, didn't you? It used to be Ant Fest. That was Ant Fest. But then, so it's a guy that sets it up, Anthony Martin, I want to say his name is. He set it up, and it's such an odd location.
Well, it used to be even odder. I mean, these days there's a massive housing estate going up down there, and I think that is gonna spell the end of those kinds of events, I reckon, because there's gonna be complaints about the noise. Because before that, like the pub itself, the Red Lion over in Gravesend, it's like in the middle of an industrial estate, and there are no houses anywhere near it. Like it's weird. Like there used to be nothing around it at all. It was like everything else had been bombed.
Like a countryside pub.
Yeah. But like inside the countryside pub, there's like a professional stage, and
it's really, really weird. But it's amazing. It's an amazing site. Venue. Yeah, like
that day that I played there 2 years ago when I came up to the Pod Powers barbecue, I was inside on that stage.
Oh right, yeah.
And yeah, I felt it was a little bit of a step down this year to be playing outside on the thing, but like it was fun. Yeah. But playing on that stage is incredible. Like the lighting makes you look amazing for a start, and the sound is incredible.
Yeah, and the guy they got working the desk there, like seasoned fucking sound engineer.
That guy's been around for years and years and years.
It's so, I suppose for those who are listening, Hero Fest, it's it used to be Ant Fest, but then it changed a couple of years ago to Hero Fest, and it's sort of like raises money for the Help for Heroes charity. Right. Yeah. Obviously to help army vets. And it's such a great cause. And there was three stages? No, well, 3 stages, and then inside the bar they had like an acoustic set up. So you had loads of bands, and there were some classic bands from like 3dB is Down. Didn't realise they were still going. No. But they were there. But yeah, it was some great bands.
One Day Elliott as well, like their first gig for, what did he say, 8 years or something?
It's been a long time because One Day Elliott anyone who lives in Maidstone knows One Day Elliott. They've heard of One Day Elliott. Yeah. They're like a legendary local band, and they're fantastic. Like I don't know why they never took off, because they're an incredible band.
They should have done, especially in the time period that they came up in, like when pop punk and nu metal was a thing.
And
they
maybe
did go
even
and
had
tour.
The choice, but
they went and toured America, didn't they? But it wasn't massively successful.
Not officially.
Oh, yeah,
they didn't. Not officially, they didn't. Because that would involve visas, and they're hard to get. So, no, officially they didn't. Which they almost came a cropper because so they had a U-Haul with their. There's a classic story. They had a U-Haul with their equipment in, and it was hired equipment. And as they were going down like a mountain road, that it came unlatched apparently, and they basically just got overtaken by the U-Haul, which ended up at the bottom of a fucking cliff. I think they managed to retrieve all their gear, but they had to sort of run, because if they were caught, and it was kind of, why have you got all these instruments? Have you got a work visa sort of thing?
It's nuts, isn't it?
But yeah, they did a tour of America, and I saw a lot of things. They're not known, so they played little clubs and stuff, and I think people liked what they heard, but it's just a self-funded tour they did.
Yeah, it's all about being in the right place at the right time, I suppose, isn't it? And clearly, unfortunately, weren't.
Yeah, they may have had a chance. I mean, I know there's like a story. So one of our friends who's not a fan of theirs said, "Oh, they did get a record deal, but they told them to fuck off." And it's like, did they though? But they also, so in more recent years, as they've grown up and got families and stuff like that, they do like a functions band now, where they do basically like pop punk covers of classic boy band songs. They're called Brothers from Another Cover. Which is great. I love that. I love that name. And we've seen them. We saw them at the Command House
a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
Which was great. Like they're a good band, so anything they do, they're going to do well. But then there was like another group, and I don't know if it's like a ongoing thing, but they're like a mix of all people from local bands. So they're like a dream team, a super group of local bands, but they do covers of like 2000s rock songs. So like when we were watching Kerrang and Scuzz, if it was on there, they probably cover it. So they did like I think they did an A song. They do like Taking Back Sunday. Like they're doing all these.
They did like a Spine Shank song as well.
I'm pretty sure it was Spine Shank. Yeah, but Spine Shank were one of those like they're heavy, but they're also very very melodic. So I think it was one of their more singy songs, like melodic songs. But yeah, a bit of Good Charlotte, a bit of Fall Out Boy, like that sort of thing. Like that's where 3 dBs Down were playing. I want to watch 3 dBs Down. Is that Fall Out Boy? So in there, like, no, we're staying here then. It was great. Just a really, really fantastic event. Really great day. I don't know why I've never been before.
Did you stick around much after One Day Elliot?
Yeah, so we watched Rage Against the Latrine.
Okay, yeah.
Which, as you may imagine, anyone listening, is a Rage Against the Machine cover band. And it's the drummer from One Day Elliot. It's all very incestuous.
It is a bit, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Which we always found, which our song Happy to Feel is kind of about. It's quite incestuous, but yeah, so it's actually Ant of Ant Fest, who arranges Hero Fest, who actually covered on bass for One Day Elliot, who is also in that band that does the sort of like 2000s covers.
Right.
Is the bassist for Rage Against the Latrine as well. So, it's all a bit of that. But yeah, they were really good. And there was a band on after who I really, really liked, but we didn't stick around because we had to get back to pick Chloe up. And I can't remember what they were called now, but they were really, really good. I'll try and find it.
Yeah, because eventually they ended up raising £4,262.10.
Jesus.
On that one day.
That's amazing.
Which is pretty good.
It's so good.
Isn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, like they had merch and all sorts as well, didn't they? Like they were selling T-shirts and yeah, it was. Come on, Call Me Malcolm.
Oh right, yeah. They're
Call Me Malcolm were really good.
They're supposed to be really good. I've never
They're brass
to see them yet.
Bit of a ska band. They've got like a saxon and trumpet and
yeah,
they're really, really good. Really good.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was gutted that I had
up.
to leave as early as I did, but there was no way out of that, unfortunately.
No.
But, no, I really, really enjoyed seeing One Day Elliot again. It must be the first time I've seen them since, I don't know, like maybe even the Union Bar days.
Yeah, I've seen them a couple of times. Like I saw them at the I did see them at Style and Winch. I saw them at, what was it called now? I'm not seeing them at the Loft.
Did you see them in
Rafters?
Right, yeah.
Some Rafters. Yeah, I saw them at Penny Theatre in Canterbury. Because they were supporting the Ataris.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, which was really good.
It was that gig. But, so it was really good seeing them. It was odd. It's the first time I've been inside at a gig, like with that many people around, and I thought
that's what I was going to ask actually, because I know you've played gigs. So, because I was going to say, it's your first live music, but it's not. You've played gigs, but
I've been on the stage, and then I can get out and kind of keep my distance from.
Yeah, you're sort of up there, separate from the crowd. Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. Like, how did it feel? Because it's your first experience of watching live music since COVID, isn't it?
Yeah, basically since we went to see the Interrupters.
Yes, that was the last gig we went to see.
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah. Well, COVID was a thing, but February we were like, we're not going to get it. It's fine.
February 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I thought I was going to be more kind of bothered than I was, but actually the excitement of being back at a gig again, like the visceral kind of experience of like the bass rumble and and people singing along, like So Near So Far is just like one of the best songs. Like it's incredible that band, like you say, never got anywhere because they've got some brilliant songs. And yeah, it was like thinking about. I came back here and I covered myself in antibacterial. I got into the door and I was like, I was rubbing it up my arms. I even put it on my face. I was like, I don't know. I just feel a bit like.
Yeah. But, I mean, we were sort of, for a majority of it, we were separate because we sort of went and stood at the front to the side, like of the bar. So we weren't surrounded, but we weren't in the crowd of people. No, it was still busy. True. You still obviously had to push through the people to get in and out. So there's still that human contact. But also, like,
it's the first time I've stood at a bar that's like 2 or 3 people deep as well. Like where you're queuing in rows of people to get to the front, you know, like that was a weird experience. And having that, you know, general, like it's just who I am apparently, but random people talk to me at the bar as well.
I had that as well. A guy
I think everyone it was a really nice like feeling, like everyone was up for it, weren't they? And everyone was having a good time, and
everyone was just so happy to be there. I think like live music, this is part of our identity, like our group of friends, the people we hang about with, the people we know. Live music is part of our identity. If we're not watching live music at least once a year, what are we doing with our lives? I think, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh fuck, we're back. Like, oh, we feel good again. But like you say, that queuing 3 people deep at a bar, like the bar is full up with people and there's people behind you and people in front of you, like that was just part of life, part and parcel. And it's weird that not having it for over a year, how weird it feels now. It's just so weird how this is normal has been sort of just, it's gone from us. And I went shopping with Liz yesterday and it was like, oh my God, it's so busy in here in the supermarket. And it's like, I could quite clearly get up the aisles. Like I wasn't bumping into people. I was like, oh, it's too busy. No, it used to be way worse than this. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? Like how we've become used to keeping distance from people and all that. Like since even in like local shops around here, since they've taken up the distancing stickers on the floor, it like people are queuing closer and closer now, and you're a bit like, but you know, I just think at some point we've all got to we've got to live with this thing, and you know, like having the vaccine is a big step forward. Being able to, you know, in most areas of life, you can kind of, you know, you can choose how, you know, distant you can keep from people, and whether or not, you know, that's something that you want to carry on doing.
One thing I found weird actually when I went shopping yesterday was how, you know, there's that you can choose to wear a mask or not now. When you go into a shop, they have signs that say, please wear a mask. You don't have to, which is fine. Like I've started forgetting to take masks out, so I will go into a shop without a mask now, and I'm starting to feel comfortable doing that because I, like you say, I will keep my distance from people. It's a personal choice of mine. I'm choosing to stay. I don't have to stand right on top of people. You know, I'm staying social distance. But it's weird how if I'm in a shop without a mask, then there's someone who's clearly a bit more apprehensive without, they've got a mask on, but they will lean across me to get something. And it's like, make up your mind. Like having a mask doesn't magically mean you can, like you're obviously concerned about it. But I'm not wearing a mask, which you may say like, that's irresponsible, but I'm keeping my distance from people because I realize, oh shit, I haven't brought my mask out with me. I'd best keep my distance from people, like be a bit more aware of it. It's just a bit weird. People make really weird choices.
Yeah. And this has been, a lot to do with the various ways in which advice has been made,
There's a lot of confusion.
Yeah, people haven't, like, for example, right, Joe developed cold-like symptoms yesterday, and it is just the sniffles. It's not, like we both taken COVID tests.
Yeah.
And it's negative. But, like, because she's got cold symptoms now, I will be wearing a mask in all enclosed spaces until it's obvious that I either do or do not have a cold.
Yeah.
Because that's what masks are for.
That's why they wear them in Japan and China, because it's like, oh, I've got a cold. And that's definitely a cultural thing. When I worked in the factory with some Asian people, but like Indian, Pakistani, Asian, there was a guy there who we'd wear dust masks for certain jobs we were doing. But then one day I noticed a guy had his dust mask on. I was like, oh, you've left your dust mask on. He goes, oh yeah, no, I've got a cold, so I'm wearing a mask.
Like, because I'm protecting you lot.
but whereas we're kind of like, oh, I've got a cold, like, just like, all over the place. That's all right. I've got a tissue. But it's just weird, and it's like, it makes sense. If you've got a cold, wear a mask when you go out.
Exactly.
I started having a bit of a tickly cough this morning. I'm like, oh shit. But no, it's fine. I'm going to cough now. I've said that, by the way. But there is that weird thing. Like, I do have that paranoia living in me now. Like, if Chloe starts coughing, I'm like, oh yeah, I've got a bit of a sore throat. I didn't before I heard her cough.
I've had it this morning, like, because obviously, like, she started showing symptoms yesterday. Like, she was sneezing and like blowing her nose and whatever. I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh God, is that? And it's probably all in my mind.
It's like, no, I've just woken up, so like there's a lot of saliva on the back of my throat.
But still, like I say, because you're always more contagious before you start showing the symptoms anyway. And so therefore, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wear a mask wherever I go, because that's just sensible. And the right thing to do. Because again, like, I haven't been ill in 2 years because I've been socially distancing and wearing masks. So I'm going to continue to try not to get ill. And if I am ill, I'm going to stop infecting other people. Because it's something very simple that I can do. But like, there was a part in my mind that thought, fuck, I've done this thing. It's the first gig I've been to. I'm clearly going to have caught COVID from this event. And guess
now
what?
Joe's got a cough. No. But
I mean, literally, in Joe's case, it's year sevens, isn't it? Like, it was the first full week back last week.
Of course. It's the new term.
Whole new set of germs from,
which we didn't have last year.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it seems, but it's, because we went to, again, another week, another show, as Liz put up on Facebook. We went to see Waitress again on Friday night. So obviously, when I woke up this morning, tickly cough, I went, what could that? Oh yeah, no, we went to see Waitress. Oh, and there were people not. Oh yeah, and we didn't wear masks because we don't have to now. Oh shit, no, no, it's just I've just woken up. I've just woken up. But you start thinking about, what could it have been? Oh, well, there was Hero Fest last week in Waitress. It's like, well, no, because it takes 2 weeks for symptoms to come out, around 10 days. So if it's going to be anything, it's going to be Hero Fest. But to be fair, most of that was in like outdoors. We were only inside for a little while, and it's like, no, man, stop it. Stop doing it to yourself.
It's the catastrophizing, isn't
it? And
it's.
And I've noticed how, like, after our last episode, I kind of had to laugh to myself because the episode before that was like, I think we were talking about the guy up in London who sort of having a go at Liz for wearing a mask. And we're like, just you prick, we're doing it for this. And you just stay indoors, fucking pricks with their fucking this and that. And then the episode directly after that, like, just get back out. You've got to get back to normalcy at some point. Just kind of like flip flop.
there is a difference between being vehemently anti-mask, and also acknowledging that you need to, start integrating at some point. Like, it's not. I don't think those two are related.
No, but it's just funny how it's like, on one hand we were like, oh, you got to protect people. On the other hand, it's like, get outside. But
I also think that in the last month and a half, things have changed because the country has opened back up again, and people are, we've got to, you have to, get used to it now, I think. But choosing the level of,
it's being sensible about it. It's like, yes, get outside, but still take precautions. Like I'm not going to be hugging strangers at gigs and shit. Like, no. Because, which is what I used to do. Because it's just part of it, isn't it? And actually, I caught up inside just after One Day Elliot's set with the lead singer of that band, Few Thoughts. That we saw outside that were on just after Armstrong us. Yeah. And had a bit of a chat with him, and then I was like, oh fuck, like that's a stranger. Like, and I was like patting him on the back and shit, and like, you had, because it was noisy in there. We were quite close, because you have to be. And I was like, and then even James as well, like James Crutwell, who came along towards the end of the set and had a chat with us. I was like, I've never actually been in a room with this guy. You know him?
I know him.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's all right, but I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
But it is that... It's that thing. It's like, I know that I'm taking precautions. Like, I feel like I'm taking adequate precautions to protect myself and to limit my sort of interaction. So if I'm going to go up, like you talk to some stranger, pat him on the back or shake his hand or do whatever, I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to affect him. Yeah. I'm happy with the precautions I've taken to not affect him. Yeah. But I'm also happy to know that in doing this, I may be putting myself at risk because I don't know if he's taking precautions. Yeah. So it's that I'm doing stuff to protect other people. I'm trusting other people are doing stuff to protect me. But if they don't, then I know that's a consequence of me taking that risk. It's you sort of got to do that. And like you say, if you develop sniffles, you will take a test to make sure. It's like before. So when we flew back from holiday, we did get pinged. I think we got pinged on the Saturday or the Sunday. And I was due to go back into the office on Monday. We ordered the PCR. No, it wasn't, because it was bank holiday Monday. So I was due to go back Tuesday. Right. But we did get pinged at the weekend. We ordered the PCR test to come. I took a lateral flow test on the Monday night before going back to work. It came up negative. So I knew I was okay to go back into work. Right. But it's like, I got pinged, so I took a test. Like, I don't have to self-isolate anymore. But you because I'm double vaxxed, I don't self-isolate. But you're encouraged to take a PCR test, which we ordered, came back negative. So it's like, we know we're doing enough. We know we're doing what we should be doing. Yeah. We're following all the rules. But yes, we are taking risks now. You kind of have to, because if we protect ourselves too much, we don't expose ourselves to everyday viruses like we're used to, like the common cold. Yeah. Could become really, really dangerous if we're overly cautious. Yeah. If we're overly cautious, the common cold could be deadly for us. Well, exactly. That's it. Like, I mean, it used to be, didn't it? That's the thing. Yeah. Like before the advent of various medicines and what have you, it used to be something that, did seriously affect people. It's the body's natural immune system as well, being exposed to it. You need to expose yourself to viruses every so often to keep your immune system working properly. There's a great YouTube channel where and the guy did a video on virus, but it's like animated videos on how viruses work and how your body fights viruses and what vaccines do for you and stuff. Yeah. And it's really, really good. But yeah, you need to expose yourself. Yeah, you have to. Like you can't constantly be in hiding. That's why people say like common colds and stuff seem to be worse these days, because everybody's sort of like anti-backing and washing their hands all the time. So you're not getting those natural sort of contagions that aren't necessarily dangerous. But,
yeah. Indeed. Yeah. It's all a learning curve.
But it's still scary.
Yeah.
Do what we can.
I mean, the next gigs that I've got, definitely like proper gigs where I will be in the audience and watching, is next February.
Mine's this weekend.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's McFly again.
Again, yes. Second time in 3 weeks.
Wow. Now mine will be the Dropkick Murphys, supported by the Interrupters.
Amazing.
And then Adamant.
Nice.
Which will be good fun. But yeah, so I think at the time that I booked them, I was just like, I haven't been to a gig for fucking ever, and I haven't played any gigs for fucking ever. I want to go to these, these shows.
Yeah.
And then for a little while after that, it was like, oh, but what happens if like it's all still, because there was no obvious end in sight, was
at
there?
the time? At the time, it was like, I will book these.
Yeah,
it might not happen, but I will book them.
But now I'm just getting more and more excited for it. Really,
yeah.
I think even though the Dropkicks one is at Wembley Arena, which I'm really not.
That's what McFly is. Wembley Arena.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm secretly hoping I do get COVID, so I don't have to admit. The thing is with Wembley Arena, great venue.
Yeah,
really, really like it as a venue. A fucking bitch to get to.
Yeah, it's
like
in the arse.
Liz said, because either you go to Victoria, which is like an hour, and then is it like half an hour, like 35 minutes?
Yeah.
Like to get from Victoria on the underground
to
Wembley, and it's like not a straight shot. It's like 2 or 3 changes. So Liz was looking online. She's like, right, okay, if we drive to Rochester. Go to St Pancras, then it's only 25 minutes on the tube.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's still 25 minutes on the tube. Like, it's still a long way. She was like, we can drive. I'm like, fuck no. I have done that once. I haven't driven there, but I've been in a car to Wembley Arena once. And it was, like, getting there was fine. Getting out was shit.
Yeah.
But sometimes I kind of feel like I might prefer that. At the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, Swamp Stomper has got a gig up in Islington, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after.
Yeah.
And again, that's like, if I'm going up on the train, I then have to take a tube from Victoria to, I don't know whether it's the Angel Islington or whether it's another one of the tube stops up there. The whole thing should only really take from door to door an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But then, like, it's lugging a guitar all that way as well, like a bass as well.
Yeah.
They are heavier. And then
your pedals you've got. And...
Nah, I'm gonna travel so fucking light. It's unreal. I think I'm gonna take like I did at Hero Fest, just take not even an inline tuner, just take like a regular plug-in, jobby. Just use one cable. Hope that it doesn't fuck up. But yeah, so because the other way is like, I don't even know how you get to Islington. Would that be Blackwall Tunnel or would that be the Circular? And then you're talking about congestion charges, because they've moved the congestion zone now out to the Circular. So even if you go to
has that
happened
now?
I don't know whether it's happened yet, but it's going to be
soon, isn't it? Yeah.
So you can't even drive up to Greenwich now at the O2.
No, the O2 you will have to pay congestion charge.
Yeah, it's a pain in the arse. Local problems.
Congestion charge basically at the minute is limited to the city, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when we say the city, we're not like talking Canary Wharf City. We're not talking about Square Mile. We're talking like central London.
Yeah.
It's basically like if your engine is over a certain size or if your emissions are over a certain amount, you have to pay a daily charge, and it's like $12.50 or something.
Yeah, which doesn't sound a lot, but if you're going up there a lot, then.
But Greenwich is almost
Kent.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, fuck it. It is Kent. Have that, Sadiq.
We're reclaiming the South London.
Yeah, fuck it. It's sort of southeast London. It's, I suppose it's not outskirts of London, is it? But it's sort of like you can drive around Greenwich and feel like you're in Kent. It's like the roads haven't quite taken on that weird London layout yet.
The way to kind of figure it out is actually, if you think about it, when you drive to the O2, it's on the EastEnders map. Like, it is in London. It's alongside Canary Wharf, really, isn't it? When you think about it.
All right. Yeah, it is.
It's over the water from Canary Wharf.
Okay, it's definitely in London. Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately. But I know what you mean.
Yeah. It doesn't feel that... I mean, you can drive to the O2, the traffic permitting. You can drive to the O2 faster than you can get a train to Victoria. Which... I mean, it doesn't help anyone that doesn't live in fucking Maidstone or Kent, does it? But do you know what I mean? I hate that road. When we went to see McFly at whatever it was, at the races we did, for some reason, Waze, I think they're like the Dartford Tunnel was completely fucking chock-a-block. So it took us through London. Not the Greenwich ferry, not the Greenwich crossing, though. Like, it took us right in and through the Blackwall Tunnel and back out. Yeah. And we had to drive that road towards the O2, and it was fucking horrific.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either.
But yeah, it was chock-a-block. I don't know why. I don't know what had happened, but it was chocker. All the way. It took us so long to get there. For like a 45 minute set, and then we drove back.
I hope the one that you're going to see is going to be like a 90-minute set.
It's proper. There's a support band and all sorts. Yeah, no, it's a proper McFly gig, which would be fun. It's great. They're great fun to watch live. Whether you like them or not, they're a solid band. I mean, they were the surprise band at
Slam Dunk?
Called Slam Dunk. Yeah.
What, this year?
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay.
They were the surprise band at Slam Dunk.
Well, there's a theme occurring
mixed
there.
Reactions.
Because when me and Smokey went up 2 years ago, it was fucking busted, wasn't it? So, like, clearly they're going through the McBusted thing, right? Surprise bands, all these bands that...
definitely mixed reactions, it was. But from the videos that I've seen of it, people were loving it. So...
People seem to be loving Busted as well when we were there, and we were like, oh.
It's the nostalgia thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, people watch Busted and they're like, play Year 3000, what I go to school for, and we'll be happy. Yeah. We'll sing along. Yeah. Like McFly, it's like, play Five Colours in Her Hair, play... what's it called?
Now,
All About You. All About You.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say I'd be stumped, but you're the fan.
Well, strong words. But no, it's, Five Colours in Her Hair. You know Five Colours in Her Hair. We started to do a cover of it once. Parody cover. And All About You, the comic relief single. Like, people do know their songs, and you would sing along to them. But it's live music, isn't it? That's the thing.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
And to be fair, they're friends with Mark Hoppus. They've done a song with Mark Hoppus.
Sure.
So
I kind of wish I'd been there again this year, to be fair. Like, there was some really good acts on there again. Like, I would like to have seen Anti-Flag again.
Yes.
And a few of the others, but yes, I think, you know, finding out that they were the surprise band wouldn't have been.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made you go, oh shit, I knew I should have gone. We've got what's that gig next year that we should have gone to? Is it this year? Which is like Fall Out Boy.
The Hella Mega Tour.
Yeah, Green Day.
They're still coming though, right? Because they've just done it over in America.
Yeah, that's next year now.
Right.
But yeah, that's coming next year. That's going to be.
Yeah. Is it Weezer as well?
Yes. Yeah. Green Day, Weezer, Fall Out Boy, fucking, I don't even know who else is there.
I know the Interrupters are on the tour in the US, but I don't think they're on the UK one. Yeah,
because they were like the little, it was like this band, the Interrupters. Like tiny little thing in the corner.
Yeah.
Why has it not got the fucking?
Oh, there's a band called The Last Gang, by the way. If you're into the Interrupters, check out The Last Gang.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They just bought. Well, they're about to bring a new album out, and it's kind of Interrupters, Distillers-y type.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, all good.
I'll have to look them up. You'll have to send me a link because I've already forgotten what you just said. For some reason, because I'm reading on my phone, I already forgot. It's fine. Anyway, but yeah. I'm sure there was something. It's one of those days again. I'm sure there was something. I finished my first year of uni.
Yeah. Cool.
Handed in my last assignment on Wednesday. So that's 1 year out.
Do you instantly begin the next level?
Yep.
Yeah, so there's no respite.
The day before the due date of yes and no. So the day before the module website for each module you're doing opens like a month before the next module starts.
Yeah.
Or 3 or 4 weeks before the module actually starts. So the day before, so my due date was the 9th for my last assignment. On the 8th was when the website for my next module opens up. So I could take 3 or 4 weeks off.
Yeah.
But I'm choosing to carry on studying, but take it easy.
Yeah.
But the problem is this one is a 60 credit module. So it's pretty much a year of study. And then my next IT module starts when that finishes. That's only a 30 credit module. But then the next IT module doesn't start until the following October.
Right.
So I'm going to have between April and October of not doing anything. And I don't want to stop because that just extends. So instead of being 6 years, it will probably go to 6.5, then 7 years or whatever. Right. So what I'm going to do is look to see if there's any level 3 modules that start in the April that I can start while I'm waiting for the next IT module to start. I just want to get it over with. Like in the nicest way possible. I don't want to drag it out more than it needs to. Yeah. I don't want to take long breaks because
there's no point, is there? You might as well just smash it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll see.
Cool. And I'm the new bassist of Sham 69.
I didn't know if you were going to talk about it or not. So I didn't want to bring it up.
I'll talk about it over on Patreon.
Yeah, I didn't.
Because we've already been going for long enough.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to bring it up. So I didn't want to mention it, but congratulations on now playing bass for a band that you are a fan of. So you can no longer be a fan of them.
No, don't meet
because that would be weird. Yeah, no, pretty fucking epic news. We'll talk about it on the Patreon.
We will. Yeah,
we'll talk about it on the Patreon.
Join Patreon, you'll hear all about my audition.
If you want to know.
And
cost you £1 to find out.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to know the story.
Indeed. So until next time, or we'll see you over on the Patreon.
Yes.
I've been Tom.
And I've been Ant.
Bye.